I believe I have made the best looking load order for Fallout 4 on the Xbox. Granted, this will of course work on PC too, but for my fellow Xbox players, you know what I mean when I say I never, ever would have thought that I could get my Xbox Fallout to look this good. This took absolutely ages to create. I did countless test runs, continuously removing and adding mods to make this as perfect as possible. My aim was to give Fallout 4 the classic Fallout 1 vibes, you know, very dark, bleak and gritty, but it kinda turned into a Stalker Metro themed load order. Anyway, with that said, let's get straight into the load order because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Okay, so I'm not going to bother going over all of these, explaining what they are, otherwise we'll be here for at least an hour, and nobody wants to hear me talk for an hour. Most of these mods are pretty self-explanatory. Now, this load order is kind of customizable. Later on, you'll see the weapon and armor mods I'm using. You should be able to download whichever weapon and armor mods you want. I just picked the ones that I think fitted best for this type of load order. This has been tested on both the Series S as well as the Series X. It does run fine, but I'll warn both Series S and Series X players right now, your game is still going to crash. Crashing in Boston is basically a feature of Fallout 4 right now. No load order won't crash on you. This is not a mod problem, it's a Bethesda problem which they refuse to fix for whatever reason. I don't know, ask them. Yes, mods will make the crashing a little worse, but if you're crashing anyway, at least crash with a nice load order, right? And I do want to mention Husky Dog Meat. You don't need that mod, it's just a favourite of mine because I love Huskies. Again, this load order is very customizable. The only things I wouldn't mess around with is any weather, visuals, retextures or HUD mods. This load order was built to be a survival load order. I mostly play Fallout 4 in survival, so yes, this load order works great and perfectly for survival, but it is super hardcore, which is why survival options is absolutely necessary. I also wanted to make sure that we left at least a little bit of room for mod space in case you guys wanted to download armor or weapon mods that take up more mod space than the ones I've chosen, or in case you wanted to add mods on top of this load order. As far as FPS goes, I really didn't notice any drops besides in Boston, obviously. On the Series S, I noticed a few. Again, this has been tested on both, but it wasn't enough to ruin the game. It just drops very, very slightly in heavy areas. And again, this did take absolutely ages to make when you take in how long I worked on the load order itself. This is by far the longest I've ever spent on a video, so if you could drop this a like and consider subscribing, it truly would mean the world. I also want to note that the military backpack mod is going to require the military backpack creating club item, obviously. If you don't have that though and you don't want to pay for it, I don't blame you. There are plenty of other backpack mods out there which are free, but I would recommend downloading them last just to make sure that you have enough room for the rest of the load order. And the same really goes for any mod that you want to add on top of this load order. Again, I would steer clear of any visual overhauls or weather or texture mods. I mean, feel free to mess around with it. If it doesn't work, you can always come back here and copy the load order again, so it isn't really a big deal. Also remember to clear your reserved space. I probably should have said that in the beginning of the video, but oh well. Tactical Tablet works really nicely with this load order too, but I definitely recommend sticking with Seen Better Days Pip-Boy, the mod I'm using. I just feel the dirt and broken glass fits a lot better than the smooth, sleek tablet, but originally I was using Tactical Tablet here, so I know that it does work. I also tested out the Fallout 76 Pip-Boy mod, which works great too. I dislike Fallout 76 for the most part, like most people, but I think it has the best looking Pip-Boy, so yeah, I have tested it and it does work. I am just absolutely in love with this load order. I still can't really believe that I got Fallout 4 on a console to look this great and run as well as it runs. I'm honestly debating making a Skyrim load order because my Skyrim on Xbox looks pretty great too, so I guess if this video does well I might do that. I've also run through the main quest and gone to Nuka World with this load order. Again, it all works fine. I haven't checked out Far Harbor though, but I imagine it's all good. The only thing I wish I included in here was a couple of companion overhauls, but none of them really fit into the load order, so I decided against it. Maybe if Bethesda ever update the mod space for consoles, I'll consider making this load order again with even more mods on top of it. I'd love to add some darker, more gritty music mods, but again, due to the lack of mod space, I really couldn't fit much else on here. I wanted to leave extra room for you guys too, in case you ever wanted to add bigger mods on top of this, such as armor or weapons or whatever. But we are wrapping up here, so that is pretty much it. That is going to do it for the load order and the video. I hope that you all enjoyed this load order, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I will try to help in any way that I possibly can. Again, if you could like the video, it would truly mean the world. But with that said, thank you all for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next one.